I'm going to work through problem number 3 on the Math 04 final exam review. This is, the instructions for this say solve the given absolute value equation. Okay, the first thing you want to do when you're solving an absolute value equation is isolate the absolute value. That means get it alone on one side of the equal sign, so I got to move this negative 3 over. So I'm subtracting 3. The opposite of that is to add 3. So I'm going to add 3 over to the other side of the equal sign. Left-hand side it cancels, and I'm left with the absolute value of 7 minus 4x. Let me lengthen that over here by a bit so you don't think I have 17. And that equals 14 plus 3 is 17. Okay, now, the next thing you have to remember when you're working on an absolute value equation is that whatever value that 7 minus 4x has could originally have been negative. We took the absolute value of it and it became positive 17. Or it could originally have been positive. We took the absolute value of it and again it became 17. So there are always two cases on an absolute value equation. So my first case, 7 minus 4x, I'm just going to make equals 17. And then because there are always two cases on an absolute value, is going to be 7 minus 4x equals negative 17. You notice I took off the absolute value. Whoops, forgot my negative sign there. Equals negative 17. I took off the absolute value signs, and so what was in there, whatever that value was originally either positive or negative. I took the absolute value of it and got the 17. So I'm taking care of both those cases. So I'm going to solve this one first, trying to isolate my x, so I'm moving the 7 over to the other side. That cancels that 7. I have negative 4x equals 10. Now I divide by negative 4, still getting x alone, and x equals, I'm going to reduce that fraction, negative 10 over 4 becomes negative 5 over 2. You notice I put my negative in the numerator. You don't want a negative in a denominator of a fraction. Okay, so I've worked one of my two cases. Now I have to work the other case where what was under there originally was negative. So I'm going to, again, subtract 7 from both sides. I have negative 4x equals negative 17 minus 7 is negative 24. I'm going to divide by negative 4. And now I have x equals positive 6. X could have originally been either one of those things. When I plugged it in and took the absolute value, I get positive 17. So my solution is x equals, and I'm using set notation. This is the set of numbers that make up my solution. We always put them in order least to greatest, so it's negative 5 over 2, comma 6. And that's my final answer. Now, if I wanted to check that, what do? I plug negative 5 over 2 into my original x and see if I get 14. And then if I do, or whether I do or not, I should say, I plug 6 in and again into my original equation and see if I get 14. You might want to do that as you're working your problems. Remember to check them, and remember on your final exam, go through and do your exam and then go back and check your problems. It's easy to catch simple arithmetic mistakes that way. There you go.